Welcome to the McCaffery Couch, where aesthetics, beauty, pain, business and industry truth all collide. In today's podcast, we are going to be chatting about something that's honestly become one of the biggest problems in the aesthetics industry. What am I talking about? I'm talking about the cheap treatment culture. And I think that the industry, practitioners, clinics, beauty salons have all contributed to this in one way or another. So let me briefly explain. This isn't an attack on practitioners, salons, clinics, models, clients, or indeed members of the public. This is about how did the industry evolve to a point where premium aesthetic treatments in aesthetics, beauty, holistics are consigned to the bargain bin basement, because that is what we're talking about, and it's having a major impact on practitioners, their businesses and the industry as a whole. And this is something that we need to dissect, we need to look at in much more detail in order to understand how we got to this bargain bin pricing format and how we can move away from it. So it's really important that we all have an honest, open debate. So what we're seeing currently at the moment in the industry, and have been for a few months, is things like pay what you can afford posts, people asking for free treatments. And we are seeing that in posts on social media, on Facebook, on TikTok. I saw a post recently where somebody was saying, just a quick post, who can give me some free treatments in the next week because it's my 18th soon. That's just one of the posts that I've seen for asking for free treatments. Or people asking for free treatments because they've been ill, they've been depressed. And I'm not saying that, being depressed, being ill isn't serious and things like that, but it's a part of the problem when we're seeing these posts asking for free treatments. Constant discount hunting by members of the public. The members of the public have been so used to seeing all these discounted premium treatments that now they're emboldened to just simply put it up on Facebook. Who's offering discounts? Who's got the best price? Who's cheapest? And so on. Clients will also message multiple practitioners looking for the best deal and also playing them off against each other. Basically, the industry's got to a point where everyone's expecting premium luxury aesthetic, beauty, holistic treatments for absolutely insane bargain prices. Some clients really now expect aesthetics and beauty treatments to be priced like fast food. Not that fast food's that cheap, to be fair, but that's what they're expecting. They are expecting premium treatments at fast food prices. And this should really be concerning every single one of us in the industry. Why are we putting our prices down so low? How has the industry created this? How has it contributed to making this happen? And this is really quite powerful, because it's about endless model prices, fake models, practitioners undercutting each other, and literally practitioners are undercutting each other. £50, £20 lips, £30 lips, £99 for the 3 areas of Botox. I've even seen it as low as £50, £60 for 3 areas of Botox. I mean, that's a completely different podcast, but this is what we are seeing. Constant Black Friday mentality, literally. And I mean, sometimes people are advertising Black Friday 2 months before Black Friday is actually happening. Social media pressure. This is something else that is happening with all, the Facebook posts, the TikTok posts and videos and Instagram, things like that. New practitioners are coming into the industry, and they are panicking. They are finding it hard on how should they price things, and then they're seeing all these bargain basement discounts and treatment offers and thinking that's what they should do. People are copying prices, practitioners are copying prices without understanding the overheads, the very fundamentals and the basics of a good business. So, a model is supposed to be for learning and development, not a permanent business model. And that's something that we are seeing a lot in the industry. I know I am seeing it a lot across social media, and that's where it's constant now. We are seeing practitioners putting up posts asking for model at such and such a price for supposed content or because they're learning, when in actual fact they're just wanting to get treatment and money in through the door. So they're using this model term very loosely so that they can try and build and get money in. Now, that again needs to stop. And when practitioners consistently advertise cheap deals, eventually the public stops seeing the value in the treatments. It's that simple, because years ago you wouldn't really see it advertised. You certainly wouldn't see prices advertised. You would just see maybe the treatments advertised, dermal filler or anti-wrinkle or things like that, but you wouldn't actually see pricing. And people didn't expect it. People were expecting to go along and have 3 areas of toxin for £375, £400. They were expecting to pay £275 for a mil of filler, and so on. And then the industry just erupted. Now we have members of the public who are so used to seeing social media flooded with these so-called model posts and practitioners undercutting each other, saying, 3 areas of Botox for £60, 3 areas of Botox for £99, dermal filler, £30 per mil. They're seeing this all the time. So it's now at a point where the public don't view it as a premium treatment. They view it as something they just go along and pick up at a really reduced price. So this is a major problem. And you've also got to look on it from the point of view of all of these premium treatments. As practitioners, we have spent years and thousands of pounds on these treatments, learning the mechanisms, the properties of the products, how the anatomy works, how the anatomy interacts with these products, the long-term effects, the benefits, the negative aspects to it. We've also spent time learning the many various techniques to actually doing it, facial mapping, and so on. Now, we have spent a lot of hours, a lot of money getting those CPD certificates, those qualifications. We've also got overheads, and those overheads are things such as staffing costs and wages. We have rent, we have business rates, we have electricity, water rates, we have product costs, we have so many different things that we have to take into account. Now, if we're going to offer that at a bargain basement price, we are not going to cover those overheads. We are not going to be able to pay ourselves a decent wage. We are just going to break even just. Some people aren't even breaking even. So we need to look at the mentality of what we're doing in our industry, and we need to change that. We need to step back and say, right, this is not a bargain bin treatment. This is a premium quality aesthetic or beauty treatment, and I should be charging accordingly. So, the other thing you can look at is people, they see this, not only the pricing being ridiculously low, but they're also now at a point where the public are looking, going, well, I'm only in there for 20 minutes, I'm only in there for 10 minutes. And they're basing it on that. What they're not looking at, because it's somehow got overshadowed over the years, is they're not seeing the many years of training and thousands that have been spent by practitioners to get to where they are in their qualifications, their CPD, that knowledge, that competency, that confidence to be able to do that treatment safely. So it's also the dangers of cheap culture. So what do I mean by dangers of the cheap culture that we're seeing on social media? And this is very important, because what you're looking at when you have cheap treatments being bashed out all the time are the fact that those treatments will be rushed. If you're doing, say, 3 areas of Botox, frontalis, glabella and crow's feet for, say 90 quid, you're obviously, one, not buying in legitimate products unless you're a teaching centre like myself, where we do get legitimate products, but our students have paid for their course. So we're not really needing to make a profit on the actual model treatment. But if you're going to a practitioner who is literally seeing you and you haven't seen a prescriber, etc., so you have got that £99 treatment, to make a profit, that person has to see quite a few of you during the day. Same with dermal fillers, microneedling, whatever treatment it has to be. They want to get you in and out very quickly. So they want to get the treatment done so that they can earn as much money through the day as is possible. Often these treatments are carried out in very unsafe environments. So, they're not working in sterile environment, they're not working with the correct products, they don't understand a lot of the products and its interaction with the face, the body, etc. Often the products such as botulinum toxin will be diluted too much, or they're not using CE marked products that are legal within this country. You've got practitioners who are literally burning out. They are at a point where they're not able to make ends meet because they're having to try and compete with those people out there that are offering it at such ridiculous fees. Corners are definitely being cut. And when I say corners are being cut, you'd be horrified at some of the stories that we are seeing out there with regards unsafe working conditions and dangerous practice. You've got also the fact that practitioners are emotionally exhausted. They're literally, they just don't know where to turn anymore, because they're trying to do all the treatments correctly. They know that they should be charging a premium fee, but how do you charge a premium fee when that person down the road is undercutting you quite severely? So that's something that we need to look at, and we need to have an open, honest discussion within the industry. But models, this is another part of the cheap culture that has been evolving within aesthetics and beauty. Models, of course they have a place. Yes, they do. I'm a teaching organisation. I'm a qualified teacher, assessor, lead IQA, and I do advertise for models. We have various courses where our students are doing either CPD or they're doing qualifications, and we need to bring models in. And we're not going to charge models the full premium fee, because they're coming in as a model, they're having students practice on them. So although that's overseen by me and my staff, they're still having the students doing the work. We are charging our students for the qualification, for the CPD course. So when we ask for models, we can afford to offer that at a really, really reduced rate because we're just covering product costs. Sometimes we're not even charging product costs because we've already made our money from our students who are doing the courses. But that's not what you are seeing out there in all these social media posts. Yes, models do have a place. Training clinics such as mine are incredibly important, and we do need those models. Supervised learning matters. It really does. Advanced development sessions matter. But the industry has blurred those lines so badly that people don't even know what they're looking at now when it comes to these posts. I mean, honestly, some people aren't models anymore. They're simply permanent discount clients. And what I mean by that is, they're going along to be so-called models, when in actual fact, all the practitioner's doing is offering it at a ridiculous price, pretending that it's as a model. So that's, again, a problem within the industry, because all these model posts, models required for content. You will, if you look on those practitioners' pages, you will see that's all they're doing is constantly churning out model content, model post. And that boils down to the clients are simply permanent discount clients, nothing more and nothing less. The impact on practitioners is huge. It really is. I mean, you're looking at now, after years, I mean, I've been in this industry over 25, coming on 30 plus years. I will be 60 at the end of this year, and I have seen the highs and I have seen the lows. And right now, over the past 4 or 5 years, we are on a definite low. We are so low. It's unbelievable in this industry. And that's a shame. I'm seeing practitioners who are burnt out. They're resentful. They've lost confidence. There's a comparison culture going on. And that comparison culture is actually quite vicious. Pressure to compete on prices across social media. Social media is making practitioners feel so inadequate. So how do we, as an industry, how do we as practitioners, deal with this? How do we turn this around? Because that's what we need to do. We need to actively turn this industry around. And instead of being bargain bin down there, we need to bring the aesthetics industry and the beauty industry back up to where it's premium treatments, where we value skill, better education, practitioners charging properly, public understanding, safety, and moving away from this constant media barrage of discounts. Respect in the profession, respecting yourselves as professionals, respecting all that knowledge, competency, confidence, and those qualifications that you have spent thousands on. It's about making sure that at the end of the day, we change what this industry has evolved into when it comes to bargain bin, cheap treatments. And we look at cheap isn't always affordable in the long run. When it comes to your face, your health, your wealth, your body, value should matter more than price. Let me know what you think, and let me know how that can be changed, how we can change our industry, aesthetics, beauty, holistics, for the better.